Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Magnificence. I am coming into this very high energy and very excited because of where we left off last session. As always, my name is G. I am here as your dungeon master, as I am every single episode, and I'm very excited to have you back. I'm very excited to be back, and I'm very excited to get these guys. Of course, as always, I'm going to give a very quick thank you to Sarsen Games for their Oracles of Agra sourcebook. It's very fun to use, and it has given us some very fun homebrew subclasses to play with, and I hope you're enjoying seeing them in action, because I know we're enjoying playing them. Now, before we get into our recap, let's have a quick word from our sponsors for the episode. Do you dream of commanding an airship or visiting a floating tavern in your tabletop RPG? Well, if your system can't take you there, then it's time for you to try two amazing supplements from Homie and the Dude. Sky Zephyrs offers 250 plus pages of airship piloting rules, combat systems, and player options, so you can finally bring your flying adventures to life with ease. And if you're looking for something a bit more whimsical, the Wandering Tavern is your go-to. With Ghibli-inspired charm, it is the perfect addition to your campaign. From plot hooks to real recipes for fantastical foods, this is a supplement that will take your party's journey to the next level, and I do mean that pun intended. So, are you ready to join the skies? Then go ahead and get 10% off with code TTN123 at www.homieandthedude.com or check the show notes for the link. And now, without further ado, let's get into a quick recap for last session and what occurred to our party members. We start right in the aftermath of the attack that left Naime completely disappeared and Khuvos whisked away by Magister Kieran Windcrook, Magister of the Aeon Conclave. Our party, now short not one but two members, have somewhat tense conversations that are not immediately broaching the topics at hand, but more so making plans on how to move forward. Investigating the nearby outposts, we see that the enemies that had just attacked were not exhibiting normal behavior, and were more so just waiting, and only acted when they heard the party nearby and moved to immediately attack them. We also uncover some old parchments left behind, and we learn through our party that these parchments are old, too old to have survived in this nearly pristine condition, and every bit of writing is written in a completely unknown language to our party members. Copying down the notes and taking a short rest, the party continues on, descending a massive staircase across a bottomless cavern into one of the first rings of the city. And upon reaching the first of the more so inner rings, touching down on a small courtyard, we see the first sightings of the actual city itself. Some of the buildings lining these streets, the party investigates a bit, taking the time to look around, theorize, and try to make some sort of plan on how they're going to move forward. The party sees that there's no proof of life to be found, no plants or animals, and Olwen responds by reaching down to try and place seeds in the ground and helping them to grow. Where we see those weird red veins seen on the vines at the entrance immediately grow from the roots where they touched down into more Akros. They spread into the petals, all the while Olwen taking the time to keep one hand on the pulse of the flower and putting their ear to the ground and listening, hearing that same clicking deep within the earth sync up perfectly with the living pulse of this flower that he just planted. As two more corpse parasites emerge from the shadows to attack. Where we left off last, we have Duclito swinging the torch around, and as he finishes just batting this creature at bay, we are going to go quickly to the top of our initiative with Caradwin. What would you like to do?
I will bonus action disengage, scoot back to be near Alina, but out of melee range. Is their reach is 15 feet, isn't it? I would know this, because I've been tentacled.
Yeah, you've seen them reach from 15 feet away with their tentacles to ensnare. Yeah.
Great. I will move slightly more than 15 feet away. 16 feet, if you will.
Oh no, it's not divisible by 5.
So yeah, bonus action disengage, move out of their reach, and then I would like to guiding bolt the one that is not currently grappling anyone, but looks more fucked up. 8 plus 7 is 15, and I will add my bardic based on G's facial expression. I'm gonna add my bardic D8. That's a 7, baby. So that becomes 22 to hit.
Yeah, that hits.
46.
Oh, hell yeah.
Another 15 points of radiant damage.
It is looking badly hurt.
Great. Yep, I've bonus action. I've done that. It's ringed in that sort of weird, sort of black and white rimmed light. Not actually glowing, but sort of hazily outlined in this bizarre light. And that is Caradwin's turn.
All right, wonderful. Alina, my friend, you are up next.
Elena is grappled by this creature, and the wind comes and just pushes her out of its grip and sends her rolling a little bit on the floor. And immediately she kind of sits up just half, and her eyes have gone from that weird dark thing from when she tried to do Crowns of Madness to suddenly they start to get milky white, and then they almost glow and shine out, and for a second it looks like the closest thing that folks who kind of know the heraldry of the families is that suddenly it is the right face gesture revealed, and light is shining out of her face and her hand, and she's not even in control of it, but it goes to touch her right in the chest, right on top of her heart, and she uses healing hands on herself for 3d4 healing. 8 points. So that takes me up to 9. I don't know how much that helps, but it's something. And then I could have sworn I used Necrotic Shroud in the last fight, but I don't have it marked. And so for flavor, gonna say that as her bonus action, that happens, glowing face, and then as the face fades out, dark wings once again pop out and encircle her and are kind of like protecting around her, encircling her, almost enclosing her. You can see through them a little bit to see her shape, but they're like protecting her. And then she starts to back up. She's not getting up off the ground. She's staying low, and backing up to kind of try and get behind Leto, where he's swinging the fire around.
I love the way you described that. The heraldry of House Lindaris, the sun-faced jester, a hooded figure with just light pouring where its face should be. In a moment almost framed perfectly by her hair whipping around, shadowing the face, the part of your face that isn't lit up bright. It is just a perfect recreation of House Lindaris. As Alina Monson quickly heals to the extent that she can and attempts to retreat. Wonderful, wonderful job. Our corpse parasites are up next. Now, this is staying true to the behavior and stat block of these creatures for a purpose that the party is not privy to. And I also said I was fucking taking the gloves off. So, first corpse parasites. The one that is pretty hurt from both Suda and Caradwin. That one, being surrounded by the two, is going to focus on what's in front of it. So that one is going to attack. It is going to attempt its bite attack, but is not going to roll with advantage since neither of you are ensnared, grappled by it. So it's just going to roll flat. The first one on Carrie misses. The second one, Jesus, that was a 2 and a nat 1 for both hits on both of you. So it totally misses. It is so hurt. The tendrils are weak and sloppy now, and you two are able to easily bat them away. The second one, the one that is holding Sage and Olwen, it can no longer hold creatures. It is holding the two of you. That is as much as it can hold. It can still attack, and it is going to do so. It is at the edge of this ensnare spell, so it's not going to move as fast, but it still has its reach. So, it is going to exit, losing some of its movement since it's moving out of the difficult terrain, but its reach, Leto was right up against it. If you're moving in the direction of going behind Leto, trying to put that flame behind it, Leto is wielding the flame. I'm going to roll to see how brave this corpse parasite is feeling in the face of something it fears. You guys want a low roll. You see the second corpse parasites move towards Leto, towards the flame. Its focus, its prey, just beyond this light. It shrinks for a moment away from the torch, but two of the tendrils raise up and go over. Alina, its two tendrils are going to reach out towards you. First attack, 9 to hit. Second attack, 18 to hit.
Silvery barbs.
Hey! Roll a third and final time. Second attack, 25 to hit.
Oh, damn it.
Please make me a Constitution save.
18 con save.
18 con save. That passes. You're still going to take damage, but not as much. Yep. Slashing damage from the initial bite. You're going to take 7 points of slashing damage. Poison damage. You are going to take 9 points of poison damage.
I am down.
The tendrils strike out as Alina attempts to retreat. The lights, the wings, this strange celestial energy that surrounds Alina that has only become obvious in recent times. It pierces through like it is nothing more than thin fabric. And once again, in the side of your neck, like a tiny needle poke, it just exasperates the wounds that is already there. The blood has been pouring from both sides of your neck this entire time, and that, just with the extra black ichor, it is just too much. And as you feel it creeping over the edges of your jawline and up your cheeks, just the effects of that black ichor poison material. Alina, it goes dark and still. Alina is down, and that is the end of the corpse parasite's turn. Olwen and Sage. Olwen, you are up next with Sage on deck. Both of you still grappled by this thing that just took Alina out.
If Olwen looks at Sage, does it seem like Sage is planning to do something, like on her own?
She's definitely in analysis mode right now. She saw Alina go down, and you know that she does not have confidence in her athleticism, and you can see her running the numbers on how the hell she can get out of this, despite that, I think.
Olwen is going to reach into his pack, grab, the bundle of torches that he keeps in there. I'm going to drop all 10 onto the ground. I'm going to pull out, that small piece of flint that he carries in his bag, and I'm going to strike it against the handle of my short sword on the bag, and I'm just going to light all 10 torches.
In the midst of this battle, click, click, as all 10 torches in a bundle light, shedding intensely bright light around the space. In reaction to that, I'm going to roll for both the corpse parasites, because the lights and heat's hitting both of them. The one that is extremely hurt already, the one with Suda and Carrie, immediately recoils and goes to attempt to retreat. Both of you get an opportunity attack.
No. Natural one. I think that my attention has been drawn to Alina's plight, so I totally with it.
24.
Carrie, you definitely hit.
Great, because I rolled a 6 on my d6, so that's 9 points of damage.
Yeah, it's done. It goes to try to retreat, and you immediately, in its strange mutated humanoid form, you slip under and just easily slip between the ribs with your blade and just eviscerate it. You take it out with one quick, easy hit, and it is gone. Olwen, excellent action. Sage, you are up next.
G, would you please have the corpse parasite make me a Constitution saving throw DC 16?
Ooh, in relation...
To me casting Vortex Warp on it.
Vortex warp it!
Okay. Oh, shit! It rolled a 10. Where is this guy going?
Okay, so can I see the roof of a building that is 90 to 120 feet away or less, but as far as possible? Is there like a roof of a building somewhere or something?
Less, because it's so dark you can't see that far away, but you can see the roof of a nearby building.
Great, it's going there.
Great. You... And it disappears. You and Olwen are dropped like a couple feet to the ground from where it was holding you, and it is gone.
Yes, great. That was my action. I am going to move to Alina. I cannot do another action. I used a leveled spell, so I cannot do a bonus action right now. So that is going to be my turn, but for flavor, I am immediately starting to, like, do medicine check type of things.
You put your hands to the sides of her neck to try to stop the blood flow. It is quite a lot more than I think Sage is used to.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Definitely the worst wound she's ever been face-to-face with.
Neck wounds are a bitch. All right. Suda, you are up next. You see the corpse parasite that got teleported away is not fleeing. It like stumbles in a moment of momentary confusion, but it's on a nearby like 2-story building just on the roof.
Yeah, so I'm definitely not going to be able to make it to that thing before the end of my turn, so my rage is going to go away regardless. So here's what I'm going to do instead. Suda is still, like, raging, still, like, beefed out. Drops to her knees next to Elena, raises a fist, and brings it down onto her chest, like, very violent CPR. Healing hands.
Yeah!
That's 5 hit points straight up. So, and at that point, that black flame, those dark veins retreat, and my rage will come to an end.
Wonderful turn from Suda. You guys trying to stop me from killing Elena. Still got one more. He's on a roof, but he's coming.
I dropped next to Leto, right?
Yeah. You guys are all basically in a group around this bundle of torches. You know that thing is still out there, but it's far away at this point in initiative. It is Leto's turn right now, so if you're trying to tell him to do anything...
So I think as, like, Olwen is, like, on the ground, being dropped from the freshly, like, warped creature, Olwen is going to turn to Leto, and he's going to say, "Take that bundle I just dropped, and drag it to that patch of plants that I just spawned right over there. Light all of it on fire."
Leto is already running before you even finish. He is going to absolutely follow your direction. Take that, easily enough for him to cross over, pick up the torches, and just poof, tosses it in. And there's a second or two of that still darkness before the entire 20-foot patch of growth lights up in a blaze, lighting the city up in so much light, more light than it has seen in hundreds of years. Long, twisted shadows stretch far across the city, shadows that have not existed since before the Empire, as all of you stand before this blazing patch of earth. And I'm going to go ahead and roll once more for the parasite with disadvantage. You see 50 feet away on the roof, the light reaching out to touch it. Its tendrils curl back, and it backs up slowly, disappearing into the darkness. We are going to exit initiative. Alina, before we move back to you as our initiative ends, there is a short, brief moment when the pain in your neck and the warmth of your own blood gushing over your front and sides and back, the stinging of this ichor in your neck, your face, continuing to move through your body as the poison attempts its takeover. It's just a moment of not total darkness, just blurry vision and hearing this ringing in your ears. A long, drawn-out note as you are aware of your friends continuing to fight around you, but you are just still and blurry and out of it. And somewhere in that dark, staring up at the endless cavernous ceiling above you, it's so hard to describe because it's all just one consistent darkness. But you swear you see, almost like an optical illusion, the profile of a head turn in your direction, taking shelter amongst the darkness, but that quickly escapes you as Suda pounds a fist into your chest, and you come back with a start. What is everyone doing?
I think Caradwin is still standing where they were, looking at the rooftop where the creature was. I am still on full, all senses at heightened awareness. This is a temporary reprieve, and I am frankly not certain it won't come back at us in 2 minutes, because it didn't get killed. It's not down, just gone. So sort of oblivious to anything that might be happening around with the party, fully focused on the perimeter security.
Our 3 passive perceptions from earlier, which I believe was Carrie, Alina, and Olvin, our 3 highest. Like, Alina, you're like sitting up. It's like deep coughs racking your body, like recovering from this grievous wound. All of you kind of still on edge, Carrie full guard dog looking around, just staying ready. The 3 of you with your higher passive perception. The corpse parasite before that was struck down as it tried to flee. It catches your eye because it begins to almost dissolve, is the best way to put it. The tendrils kind of melt into a bit of a sludge, and the bones and the solids that were still there, it's almost like the earth begins to eat what was left behind, reclaiming its ragged form. It's slow and it's quiet, and it's makes you understand how you missed it back at the outpost. You wouldn't have noticed it had you not been looking right at it, but the earth slowly takes the parts back.
What happens to the ichor that is still kind of dripping somewhat off my neck, the blood?
You feel it slowly begin to recede. It's like a burning pain that lingers for several minutes.
I think what Sage is currently doing is trying to clean that wound. It's just for flavor. I don't have any ability that would restore you any HP, Jacqueline, but Sage is definitely like trying to, don't move too quickly. We need to, I need to see if this needs, I don't know how to suture things, but stay down.
Leto comes over, very silent and like very about it for the first time since you guys have like really met him. He like puts a hand underneath Alina's arm and like sits you up. He like drags you over to the fountain and sits you up so you're sat up against the fountain so you are not laying down. Moves one of your hands, Sage, and puts his hand there, grabbing the side of your neck really, really tight to hold that wound, and is just focused and in it immediately.
She's definitely still dazed and keeps looking up to where she saw that face, but to anyone else, you wouldn't know what she kept trying to look at or trying to see. But then at a certain point, I think once Leto kind of drags her back and brings her against the fountain, then she looks to Suda, and it's hard to gauge what is going on there, but it's this very strange, like, she was out, and then she came back with a hard percussion from Suda on her chest, and of all people, that had to be the person who brought her back. Just, there's a lot going on in that expression right there.
Sage, gather some of the poison. We might need to make antitoxins later.
Got it. Yeah, I'll pull out some kind of vial or something from my herbalism kit.
What poison?
The ichor, I assume he means.
From where?
from Alina's neck.
Got it. I was gonna say, corpse is gone.
Yeah.
Perfect, yeah. I'll say go ahead and make me a medicine check, because it's a lot of Alina's blood, too.
12 plus 4 for a 16.
Yeah.
Also, I think this is mostly flavor, but I was thinking about doing it anyway. I think in trying to clean this wound and like put pressure on it and get any contaminants out of it, I think Sage is going to, almost in a way of like trying to numb the pain, trying to do anesthetic, cast protection from evil and good here. She knows we're not under immediate danger in the next 60 seconds, but I feel like it's almost a comforting thing that she's trying to do here with that, and possibly that could help also get some of this undead gunk away from her.
Yeah, easily enough, you gather up that vial. It's a little messy, but you do the best you can, and you cast that spell. Everyone kind of gathered up in this huddle for a moment, figuratively licking their wounds, essentially.
Caradwin, if I see it coming back, let me know. I'll shoot off a firebolt.
Olin is going to go towards where Leto and Alina are, sort of dragging his body there. And he's going to hand Leto the rest of the good berries. There's 12 in a small pouch. And he's going to say, you can crush these and dress the wound with it. Maybe have her eat some of it slowly. It'll help. As I hand him that, I'll also go ahead and help Caradwin take watch. Not like stand next to her or anything like that, but just like also keep watch to make sure nothing. Yeah.
Gotcha, yeah.
Okay, so Caradwin standing near this patch of slightly funky looking ground where there was recently a parasite corpse, but now there is not, reaches into their pocket to sprinkle a little extra dirt on that patch and whispers, really to themselves more than anything else, from whence you came, never to return.
Khuvos. After the very unexpected and disheartening betrayal suffered at the hands of Magister Kieran, turning you over to the Conclave, you were immediately whisked away back to your small dorm, where your items were confiscated. Your robe, your book, your staff, anything that you're carrying on you that is not the clothes on your back, immediately taken from you. And you are locked in your room. And this is where you have been for the last week. No contact with anyone. No one comes to speak with you. The only indication that anyone exists outside of this dorm are the 3 meals brought to your door every single day. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. There is a magister not posted outside of your room, but patrolling the halls regularly. Almost every 15-20 minutes you hear footsteps going up and down the hall. And not that you necessarily want to make a commotion, but anytime you try the door, it is locked from the outside. You are not going anywhere. You can track down the Magister patrolling outside if anything is needed in terms of emergency or any study material. Of course, this is the Conclave. They're fine with you perusing from their library with their permission, of course. They're still not letting you wander around. But in this week of, well, solitary confinement for Khuvos, what does Khuvos get up to now that he has been abandoned, locked away, and left completely alone?
I think the first day was just processing. So much has happened. So much more than he could have ever expected to experience in such a short period of time. And he spends that time remembering not only the lessons that he'd been taught by the Conclave, but he spends this time thinking about his friends, how Alina carried herself in their conversations that required a bit more diplomacy, Olwyn and Carrie and their stealth, and how they observe the world around them. He remembers Sage's curiosity, and he remembers Suda's caution, and it's mainly that gets him through, because thinking about Olwen, he starts counting how long it takes the Magister to traverse the halls. He asks for books, thinks about what is not going to be suspicious, and then thinks about any time. Do they take him out to the library to pick out the books, or do they...
No, if you request study materials, they go to get it for you. For that entire week, you are not allowed outside your room.
Understood. He requests books that were in line with his curriculum that he was studying already. But on the side, he would, making sure to avoid when the Magister was going up and down, practice the Druidic that Olwen taught him. Hold on to those pieces of what he had and what learning came from those he cares about and who cared as much about him. And he thinks about what the fuck he's gonna do to get himself out of this situation because this is a mess. But he studies the spells that would have been next on his trajectory, even though he can't copy them into his spell book yet. He studies more arcane history, arcane practice.
For Prefect Khuvos Nemenath, though you were Khuvos first, all these years at the Conclave, despite what others may think of Khuvos Nemenath, of his background, of his experience, of who he is, what he looks like, where he's from, despite what anyone may think, Khuvos Nemenath is a trained fucking wizard. You read and you study. Adventuring and going through secret underground tunnels and fighting unknown monsters and strange creatures and navigating tense political landscapes. While all of those can help one get better in their craft, locking yourself away for a week straight and doing nothing but thinking and reading and practicing and trying again and again and again and again, that also helps one get a lot better at their craft. And here in the cold stone walls that once housed you as a student of promise and a student of arcane ability, now holding you as a prisoner. This is where you learn, and this is where you prepare. You know the situation ahead of you, and you know being loud will not help right now. Being quiet and being patient is what you need right now. And you understand that immediately. So that is what you begin to do. As you said, thinking of Olwen, tracking the Magister's steps outside, practicing that Druidic, continuing on your course load. There's nothing out of the ordinary. It was just a mistake. Whatever you stepped in, it was just curiosity gone too far. There's no reason for the Conclave to look at you with suspicion. At least that is the image you're putting out. That first week goes by slowly and quietly. The only time you're really speaking out loud is asking for books, asking for coursework to practice, or quietly practicing Druidic in a quiet corner by yourself whenever the Magister isn't passing right by your door.
I think he would also, just to show that he's keeping up with the coursework, he doesn't know... Does he know the Magister that's patrolling, or...?
You don't recognize them.
Okay. He's still going to ask questions when he has them, just as if he were in class. Just knock on the door and call the Magister over if he has a question about any of the material he's reading.
Mm-hmm.
He's hoping that he's no threat to them. Not behind a locked door, not without his spellbook. What's a little clarification in lessons he should be learning anyway?
It's a testament to Khuvos' intelligence this first week, and patience. And it's interesting that no one else is here to witness Khuvos really showing off quietly, subtly, in his own way, how capable he actually is in these kinds of situations. That first week finally does pass. And what signifies the end of that first week of confinement is a knock on your door for a change, rather than you knocking on it. It's a clear 1, 2, 3 knock. Before you hear keys jingle, the door unlock, and the door swings open. And you see in front of you those dark, burnt, umber brown robes, and the calm, proud, capable face of the Cardinal from your arrival. He enters calmly, nods to you. Prefect Nemenath, do you care if I sit?
No, of course, make yourself at home. I apologize. I wish I could have done some laundry or tidied up before you arrived.
No need to worry yourself, Nemenath. I understand the situation at hand, and I understand you're probably feeling incredibly anxious and confused, so I'm here to clear up a few things. I just needed time to make sure everything was situated, so again, I apologize for the confusing treatment so far, he says as he pulls a chair from your desk and takes a seat.
Of course, and my apologies, I don't believe we've met.
We have not. I am the Cardinal Amafrey.
Cardinal Amafrey, it's a pleasure to meet you. And he bows his head in respect.
A pleasure to meet you formally, Prefect Nemenath. I've heard many, many good things. I got several recommendation letters from Magister Kieran before you went out on your first expedition. I'm glad that it went well, all things considered.
Yes, I was going to ask about the abrupt... Well, I would assume that that's what you're here to explain, the abrupt departure from said mission.
Yes, of course. You see, we made a mistake on our end. We assigned you a task that was unfortunately above your station, and that was not realized until you began uncovering more information regarding it. It was an issue that should have been handled by, at the very least, Kieran himself, if not myself.
I see.
It was, as I said, above your station, above your knowledge level. That was a mistake on our end, and for that, I would like to apologize to you. The situation at hand is regarding a delicate, let's say, relationship with some members of the Empire. As you know, there is much tension between our two groups already, which is why, of course, we needed to have a quick extraction, we could say. I was afraid of some Empire members catching wind, thinking there was some secrecy going on. I was afraid of you getting caught in the crossfire of tension between two large-scale groups. You would have been the only one to suffer in that moment, so, as I said, a quick extraction was necessary, but I apologize for how it was handled.
I appreciate the apology, Cardinal. Might I ask why there could not have been some sort of, I suppose, warning on the part of the Conclave to myself?
Well, that is due to, well, the people you were traveling with, Khuvos. Unfortunately, some of the individuals you were traveling with had known Imperial ties.
I understand.
And while, of course, we trust you and your judgment and the company you keep, as I said, due to the tense nature of the relationship between the Conclave and the Empire, we did not want to risk your safety for anything by sending a warning ahead of time.
Of course. And I understand there is no love between the Conclave and House Telcaster. But I was not aware before I accepted the mission that they would be involved in any way.
Of course, of course.
And Khuvos, up until that point, had sort of been standing. He wasn't pacing, but he stood out of respect for the Cardinal. But at the same time, forced himself, kind of remembering Alina's handling of diplomacy, forced himself to relax, not give away the tension of the fact that he was dancing through words. He remembers Magister Kieran's warning, not to trust anything that Cardinal Amafrey says, and he trusts that, though he no longer trusts Kieran. I think he has another chair somewhere in his room that he pulls out and sits very respectfully in front of the Cardinal. So, how do we move forward? I would prefer not to stay in solitary confinement for a,
Of course. And again, apology for those measures that were taken. It's sometimes necessary to sequester students away for I hesitate to say safety, simply because I don't want to worry you, but while we figured out the finer details, it was best to know you were somewhere safe and secure where we could easily find you should more terrible situations happen.
Understood.
That, of course, ends today. You are free to roam as normal. I'm very pleased to hear that you've been keeping up with your studies as per usual. This is why you, my boy, have achieved prefect status.
Well, thank you, Cardinal.
Now, there was a persuasion from the Magister Kieran to not keep you within Conclave grounds. In the week's time, I tell you, I have received maybe 7 additional recommendation essays from the Magister in support of you receiving another field assignment.
I see. Was there an explanation of a specific field assignment that the Magister had in mind?
He gave several recommendations. Resource material, field study, public relations, many suggestions as to tasks that you could possibly complete. Somewhat surprising to see just the impression you have left, but pleasing nonetheless. And, well, I actually do agree with Kieran in this instance. I think you would do very well serving out there in the field. You are a fantastic representative of the Conclave, Prefect Nemenath, and I would like to see you continue to thrive out there. But, of course, it will take some time for us to appropriately choose you an assignment this time that does not involve potential civil conflicts with Empire superpowers.
Of course.
It will take a time to determine what that next task will be. Until then, of course, you are free about the Conclave as you normally are as a student. I highly encourage you to continue your studies. And should you need anything further from us, please do reach out. If you need to contact my office directly, I will be on site for a short period of time until we get you reassigned. So feel free to stop by.
Of course, Cardinal, I'm afraid. Thank you for addressing the matter promptly and coming to see me yourself.
Of course. Can you make me an insight check?
Oh, dice, how I've missed you. That's a 13 with the highest. I rolled a natural 8 and a natural 7, and I get a +5 to insight.
Oof. 13. I think the only thing you do notice is, as the Cardinal stands, sort of drawing this somewhat informal meeting to a close, you see his right hand move in a very subtle way that seems easy to miss, but you know what spellcasting looks like. You don't catch exactly what it is he's trying to do. You don't catch any other movements in his body or in his face that indicates what it is, but you know what spellcasting looks like.
I'm not going to let him in on the fact that I saw it. Can I make an Arcana check to see if I can identify the list of potential spells that could come with the movements that I saw?
Yes, absolutely. Please go ahead and make me that Arcana check.
17.
With 17's pretty good. The first thing you recognize, this is a cardinal of the Aeon Conclave. They are, of course, sort of boogeymen of the Conclave. You know the rumor that goes around that if a cardinal shows up, that means something is really going wrong. And that's part of why you're so on edge and paying so close attention, because you know that about them. But that also gives you the knowledge that this man is years and years and years ahead of you in spellcasting. If there's a spell that he wants to cast carefully, you know that he probably knows how to hide it. And you just got pretty lucky in seeing those movements of his hand. The other thing you notice with your 17 Arcana, though you cannot tell exactly what spell, the way in which he twists the wrist and the movements of his fingers follows the pattern with divination spells. The Cardinal is standing to leave, holds out a hand to you to shake, nodding to you.
He shakes it as well, and sort of thinks for a moment and says, Cardinal, before you leave, might I ask? I appreciate that it's been decided that I should venture out again, though my assignment hasn't been given yet. And he thinks carefully for a moment about how to ask this. The companions that I was traveling with previously, obviously, as I said, I know there is no love between the Conclave and the noble houses that I was assigned to that mission with. However, if I was to reach out to any of them for counsel in matters that they might be useful in the future, would that be a problem? Or should I avoid them entirely?
No, of course not. I probably shouldn't be telling you this, but you're a smart lad. The tensions between the Empire and the Conclave haven't ramped up quite that far yet. In fact, it's probably for the best that you begin making friends and allies within the Empire's ranks, so we can prevent any sort of heightened conflict between our two groups. That is, of course, the ultimate goal. So, of course, if you have relations already built, it is only best to strengthen those now while we can.
Understood. Thank you, Cardinal. Have a wonderful day.
Of course. And if there are any letters to be written, just turn them in to my office. I'll make sure they find their way.
Of course. Thank you very much.
Gives you a kind smile, nods again, shakes your hand once more, and departs, leaving the door open behind him so you are free to leave. Anything Khuvos is doing directly after the Cardinal, I'm afraid, leaves?
I think after that, he waits a few moments just to make sure that the Cardinal's not going to dip back into his room for anything. And then he lets the facade, the pleasant smile that he was holding, the schooling of his thoughts, drop. He's not entirely sure what was cast on him, but it's clear that the Cardinal trusts him just as much as he trusts the Cardinal. And he knows that he still has a facade to keep, at least for a little while longer. But at least he has some directions, and he's been given some freedom. And that will at least allow him to accomplish a little bit more than what he could do stuck inside a box.
As your freedoms are given back to you, with, of course, no ulterior motives from the Conclave's end, your belongings are also returned to you. Your spellbook, your staff, your robes that have been returned to their original stitching. The turtle patch is gone.
Do they give it back to me?
They do not. They are cleaned and pressed and returned to their original state.
He is going to ask them what happened to it.
You ask the small-time, not a full magister, just attendant employee of the Conclave after it, as she returns the robes, and she mumbles some non-answer about laundry services, just making sure your uniforms are in pristine condition and according to the code of student conduct.
Of course, but I apologize. A friend made that for me on the road when it was not safe for me to wear the Conclave emblem, as is code for student conduct. I would like that back, even if it's not in perfect condition, to return to my friend, if possible.
The woman, the attendant, sort of nods along. Of course, we can check the laundry services. Unfortunately, we'll just have to cross our fingers. Things get lost in laundry all the time. But you're more than welcome to go speak with them directly. That'd probably give you some better luck if you go see their office and see if you can look through their lost and found.
I'll go speak to them soon. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. She departs, skitters off. And Khuvos, you are left with your belongings once again. The Conclave is open to you, though it is tinged in distrust and deceit. You have some breathing room, at least for now. And before you set out on whatever endeavors Khuvos has left in front of him, your staff has been returned to you, having been gone for a week. And you didn't realize how on edge you really felt until it was back in your hands. Of course, you had many reasons to feel discomfort, distrust, but some of it noticeably wanes. A bit of that tension in your chest noticeably wanes once it's finally back in your hands. You take a grounding breath. Finally, after the week of isolation. And as that is returned to you, you hear that voice creep in almost immediately. That spiritual, almost transparent, ghostly-looking figure, barely able to form in the hallway in front of you, as he speaks in the silence of the conclave. I think we need to talk.
You're telling me?
Yeah. There's something wrong here.
Alina, Leto kind of crouched in front of you, holding these good berries and getting everything ready and trying to assist the best he can. He has a surprisingly very steady hand and is handling this quietly and carefully.
As you're stabilized, you have those extra hit points back. He's crouched in front of you, and he just kind of goes, "Oh, we wouldn't want to lose that lovely voice of yours, Lady Alina, would we? You're right, my friend."
I don't know. But at least you don't have to tell my mother.
I'm afraid she would kill me. I'm not going to tell her mother. She would hang me by my ankles. No. If your mother ever finds out about this, I only hope that I am all the way in Understone, back home, in my own estate, where I can hide behind men with swords.
Noted.
I admit I was a little surprised, Lady Alina, to witness the ancestry rear its head, I have to say.
Ancestry? What are you talking about?
I have been attuned to the ways of the noble houses for a lot longer than you have, Lady Alina. In old legends within House Lindaris. Individuals such as yourself that had similar abilities is all I say.
Elena's face is so confused in this moment. What are you talking about?
It's from maybe the 400s, 500s, back in early Empire days. It's old stories of individuals hailing from House Lindaris. Not just House Lindaris. There are many individuals in the same, but it was a thing back then. We can take a look at a family tree map later. You are bleeding from your neck. I apologize. I thought this was an old family legend you were aware of.
No. What are you I got knocked. I don't know. What?
I think Sage looks at Suda and raises her eyebrows. Do you want to tell her?
Leto glances back at Suda too, but doesn't say anything because he's scared of her.
Suda meets Sage's looks very confused or lost on how to respond, and goes, "Guess your family is blessed? I don't know. That's what my parents always told me." So
maybe it's one of those things that you would find out once you got married or something, because I certainly don't know that part of the Lindaris history.
Oh, yes. They would have given, if there were any marriage contracts, they would have given a full rundown of lineage, so I assume.
What? I don't know what you're talking about. Did something happen? I mean, this obviously, but...
You wield divine magic in addition to the magic of your art.
Yeah, that's it. More so not divine, more so divine blood. Not that you wield it, I would say more so it wields you.
What?
Your bloodline is touched by celestial energy of some sort.
Yes.
It's not common, but I gesture at Suda.
Oh my god. Grandmother.
My friend, were you not aware?
No, Leto, maybe you've heard of her. My grandmother, Elena Asher, she married into Siru, but she's crazy. There were these stories, and everyone said that she had lost it.
I think you'll find that a lot of the nobility of Valensun tends to avoid this sort of discussion.
The way the Empire looks at individuals, such as our friend Sage here, who are gifted with arcane magics, and the way they look at individuals such as Sarah Tanner with natural magics, and individuals like others, he goes about to motion to carry, but thinks otherwise because he is also scared.
Like Caradwin.
Yes, who wields more divine magics, looks down on all three kinds. It is not unusual for a family line that is gifted, or as they would say, cursed, with that sort of magical energy to lie about it or to cover it up. or to manipulate the story to outside forces because it is not seen as a boon in the eyes of the Empire. You would not be the first one whose family line it has happened to.
My mother is going to kill me.
Your mother's going to kill me too. I don't think we can ever go back to the surface.
Nobody's mother is going to kill anyone. This isn't something that you chose.
You don't know her mother. You don't know her mother.
I raise my eyebrows at him. She can try. But this isn't something that you can choose. And your mother should have been aware of it.
I cannot speak to the motivations of a person I am not that well acquainted with. She probably did, but just did not speak of it. Those in the family lineage in House Lindaris that are touched by this, I would have to assume, all follow the same credence. They do not speak of it, they do not make it obvious to outside forces, and if they can help it, they do not make their children aware of it. I apologize for bringing it up now. I merely come from a place of concern for you, my friends. It seems a conversation needs to be had with some members of your house once we return to the surface, yes?
Nothing has changed, Lady Alina. This is something you have carried with you this whole time, and will carry with you for the rest of your time. It's not something you chose, it's not a path you chose for yourself, whether or not you knew about it. You have it. That's all. So do we have time to talk now?
Elena looks as Sage kind of does that little very good supportive statement that she makes. Anyone who has the insight to tell sees Elena just kind of shutting down.
Caradwin and Olwyn, if we could, one of the nearby buildings, let's just make sure it is empty, barricade ourselves in there with a fire for tonight. I feel like that's maybe a wise course of action.
Yeah, we should find a place. I can feed the fire and guide the smoke so we can seal up the building. It'll be fine.
Easily enough. You guys go just to one of the nearby buildings, Leto kind of putting your arm over his shoulders to carefully help you to your feet, Alina. You all are able to easily just check on the nearby buildings, and it's almost too easy. All of them are empty. If you check more than one, you notice all of them are empty. Going to just a nearby small house, it appears, you enter, close the door, stack some furniture up against it. There's a small hearth in the center that you were able to light and fill the house with light and warmth again for the first time in hundreds of years. And you all are able to easily settle down after a harrowing battle. So, I assume you are all going to embark on a long rest here in a bit. If there's anything you guys care to do prior to the long rest, and then of course, assuming you guys are going to be setting up watches, anything like that that you guys care to be doing, feel free, throw it out anytime you like.
I'm setting the alarm perimeter, of course. If there's a lock on the door, I don't know that it will help much, but just because we're all very stressed, I think I will go ahead and enhance that lock and cast Arcane Lock on it, spend some of my components to do that. Even though I don't think it will matter, but you know, it's something.
If you all are willing to let me rest for a few hours, I am happy to stand watch while everyone else sleeps. I only need a little while.
I'll take the first one.
And then for general flavoring, right before I take my long rest, I would like to burn another use of Eyes of the Grave, just as a final confirmation that there is nothing undead within 60 feet of us.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. The house, the area around within that perimeter is totally clear.
Yes, I'll settle into a corner, sort of on my knees, hands resting on my knees, head down. But I think as I've established before, Caradwin does the elven rest, eyes open, so it is mildly disturbing. But that's fine.
Okay, so I'll take the third then.
I think if we're discussing this, I think Sage would. I won't mind staying up with you, Olwyn. I've been trying to figure out some of that language that you were showing me, and I want you to check my work on some of these.
Yeah, sure. Sure, I can show you a few of it.
As we're kind of gearing down, Elena, Leto helps her to a spot, and folks help her find a spot kind of near the fire.
He takes off his cloak and makes it into a pillow for you.
Aw, so sweet. But before she goes to sleep, she kind of waves Suda over.
She does that whole thing where, wait, you're looking for me, not looking behind to see if you were motioning to somebody else before she'll shuffle over. What?
I don't know how much you remember or how much time it feels like has passed for you, but I feel I owe you something. And I owe Naime more. You should know, when you switched, when we walked into the city and when you switched, I have part of whatever this Asimar thing is. I can sometimes hear thoughts, and I heard hers, and all she was saying, all she could do was scream, the light, the light, the light, the light, the light, the light. And then it cut out, and I'm worried for her.
You're sure of this? That she's still out there?
I haven't tried since. I can't try now, but I think she might be.
There is a lot of emotion that washes over Suda's usually very expressive face. Granted, it's usually frustration and anger, but in this case, you see glimmers of hope mixed with guilt and that same anger, that determination, that, dare say, love. All of it just passes over her face. But then her face narrows, or eyes narrow into slits in a suspicious look. Sorry, you can detect thoughts. Have you used this before?
I mean, I'm not always in control of it. It just sometimes kind of happens, but yes, I have.
On us?
I have heard the thoughts of members of the party before, yes.
That is an amazing non-answer. Do you know how intrusive that is?
That's why I don't do it most of the time.
Oh, but you can't control it, right? Look, what I did to bring you back, we're already down 2 members. And honestly, I want to get the fuck out of here alive. So, we need you, believe it or not. So whatever demons are hovering around you with this new information about who you are and what you are, fucking sort it out.
She's up until this point been very much in that, like, I'm hurt, I'm pulled down, I'm not leaning into or being a wimp about it, but you know how when you're hurt or you're sick, you can either choose to try and push past it and be strong or let yourself be in that pain or that sick moment. And she has been sitting in that pain and sick moment until now. Her back straightens. She sits up. You have dealt with things, and you have pain. You have emotion and challenges, and you have been hurt. But never assume that you are the only person who has. You do not own a monopoly on pain, or loneliness, or regret. I offered you one piece of information about a friend. A shared friend. Let's get out of this place.
You're right. I am not the only one with trauma and issues. But I fucking push. I survive. I do what I have to continue to live. And that is all I am asking of you. Now, with this new information, I will need to find her. I can't leave her down here. But I have no fucking idea where to start.
Well, if my reading thoughts isn't so abhorrent to you that you don't shut off my use of it, maybe I can help with that. But not right now. I'm going to bed.
Sleep well.
Pulls down the blanket and rolls over to her side.
And Suda will find her own spot and sleep for the night.
So our first watch is Olwyn, correct? And Sage, you were joining.
So I think Olwen right now is tending to the fire. He's using gust to keep air flowing in there, make sure that none of the smoke fills into the building instead of out of it. And I think he's also like kind of absentmindedly taking. He's probably asked like Sage to like take a look at the vial of poison so that he can take a look at it. I don't think he has the ability to like try and do something with it right now, but he's like taking a look at it. As he overhears like Sage trying to practice Druidic, he's sort of like going to straighten up a little bit, and he's going to say, "Oh, no, okay, no. So it has the words. You can't just memorize the words and say them. That's not how you speak it.
Okay.
The language, what it is, it's a way to try and let us understand what we already do. You know how to speak it. So does the wind in the air. So does the ground beneath you. So does the water flowing down a river. All of it knows how to speak these words. When you say them, you're not just reciting the words as you know them. It is you consciously making that connection and reminding yourself that you are part of that world. You do not exist separate of it. You are not an individual, that you are part of it. Try again.
It's kind of like singing along to a song.
Yes, you're joining a harmony. You're not singing by yourself.
I think this is something that Sage does struggle with, but Sage is also very accustomed to struggling with things before she gets them. And so I think she's frustrated about other things. Olwen is relatively wise, and he might realize that she's not frustrated with language learning. He might be getting frustrated with her, though. I don't know. She's just using this as a way to get her mind off of other things. And she keeps trying, even though she is very clearly not getting it.
You're distracted. What's on your mind?
Yes, we're in a very dangerous situation. We don't know what's out there. I can't see that far out there, but it's fine. We don't have time to bicker.
But we're not. We're having a conversation. You can talk. We have time now. You're not this quiet usually. In fact, most of the time, people can't get you to stop. So it's wrong.
Doesn't it piss you off that Caradwin just left and is acting like it's no big deal? She could have fucking died, and we could have died. Are you okay with that?
Caradwin... I don't know. She has her own stuff that she's going through, and I don't know where she disappears off to every now and again. And she does come back.
I don't need to know where she's disappearing off to. That's between her and whatever she's communing with. But it is our business when it's putting us in danger, and she might not come back at some point.
I don't think that's gonna happen. Between you and me, I don't think even she knows that she's not gonna let that happen. She's weird, that one, strange. I mean, think about it.
Most of those types are.
Well, no, she carries herself like she doesn't care about anything. She does. I just don't know if she knows it yet. Remember that kid back in... God, all these cities look the fucking same.
Sears Morning.
Sears Morning, yeah. She was looking for information, remember that time, right? She met with someone at that point. Some large-looking dragonborn of some kind. Owen's going to scroll through his little notebook that he carries notes in towards that specific date, and he's going to say, here it is. He called himself Atash. I was trailing them back then. Seems like they're both part of the same type of organization of some kind. He actually spotted me. Looked like he was taking note of my appearance, who I am. He's dangerous, I can tell that much.
So, this is from her career path.
Yeah. Carrie was specifically told, if anything happens to those kids, let it happen. Your loyalty is with us. It's not with them. It's not with those people you found. She was given direct orders to say, hey, don't do anything if anything bad is going to happen to these children. And at first I thought that was probably dangerous, that was bad. That's why I was in such a rush to get to those kids that first time. But when we got there, she did intervene. It's clear that whoever that person is has a stranglehold on Carrie. She went against it anyway.
No. Olwen, it is not any person we can meet that has a stranglehold on her.
I don't think that's true.
Caradwyn doesn't have a choice on what path she walks, and it's not up to the organization she works for either.
What makes you think that? Why shouldn't she get a choice?
She has a divine connection, and when you have that, you work for that connection, whether you like it or not.
Who decided that?
A god.
And when have you cared what they said?
I think Sage shuts the notebook that she was working with. Even if you don't care what a particular god has to do or wants to do with things or whatever, even if you don't personally care, it does affect everyone around them. If Caradwyn's god tells her to abandon us in the middle of the buried city, she has to.
No. I know a lot of things, but I have the feeling she won't.
You don't get how powerful that pull can be then. But that aside, it's if we can just stay together and find a way out, once we get whatever it is we're going to find down here, she can do whatever the fuck she wants.
So what is your deal, really?
What do you mean?
Well, you care so much about what other people are going through. I don't get it. You travel with this coven that very clearly seems to care about you, at least Magda did. You have a family back home that was more than happy to welcome you back there. Why are you out here?
Sage sits in silence for a long moment before she answers. I have the privilege of being able to choose what I want to do, and that's not being holed up in Beggar's Hole. There's a lot out there, and I want to see it, and I want to learn about it, and I want to be a part of something bigger, connect with something bigger.
You know that you already are, right?
I'm trying to be. I need more sleep.
Yeah. Well, before that, you're gonna get this word right. That was atrocious. And yeah, I think Owen spends a little more time trying to teach her how to speak this language, and we'll go wake up the next watch.
Finish up your watch. Wake up Caradwyn for theirs. Caradwyn, just at the very top before we do anything else, go ahead and roll me a perception check. Just so we see how this watch is going to go.
15 plus 6, 21.
Perfect. Right. Anything you care to accomplish on your watch, feel free.
I believe I'm alone at present, so no.
Yeah, wonderful.
This is how I prefer to be, really, given the recent high tensions. This is great.
Yes, a personal reprieve for Caradwyn specifically, to just sit in silence for 4 hours and have no one talk to you. It's genuinely heavenly.
That's so nice. Basically a vacation.
Coming to more towards the end of your shift, you've only done the first 2 hours that Sage and Olwen were watching. I assume as you're switching over, if there's any conversations to be had, and then you're going to go back to your trance to finish out your long rest. Suda, just at the top of your shift, go ahead and roll me perception as well.
Oh, this is going to be fun. I've got a -1 to perception. So. 5.
Yeah, anything you care to do during your shift or any conversation you try to have with Carrie during the shift change, feel free to do so.
I think that Carrie will see Suda get up and settle down and just not pray per se, but kind of muttered to herself for a little bit. Suda is very used to having conversations with Naime in her head. Her part she says out loud, Naime responds internally. And the feeling that she's not there is a little much. So in this case, it's kind of like talking to a coma patient. You're kind of hoping that they hear you. That probably goes on for half an hour maybe, unless Carrie decides to interrupt.
Carrie was very aware, hyper aware of when Suda stretched, woke up, moved, in the way that you are extremely aware of someone that you are putting every effort into not looking directly at.
Okay.
This might be one of the tensest watches that has happened thus far. There are no words happening whatsoever.
And even rolling like insight, perception, I think they're all wisdom based. That's a 13. So probably does not even come close to overcoming Carrie's deception.
I do not think that this is a deception or a performance. This is stone-faced focus. This is the dissociating into professional levels of compartmentalization. It's probably somewhat obvious to you only because you are also a working professional of some kind. The most blank poker face. I am not engaged at all. And I think Suda would probably recognize a degree of that.
There will be a couple of times where Suda turns as if she wants to say something to Carrie, rethinks it, settles back down into watch, but without any further context as to why she's being stonewalled. She'll feel this distance, this isolation, honestly, from pretty much everyone. And it's pressing on her almost visibly, because now not only does she not really have a friend in the party, but she doesn't even have her sister. And that's probably going to be the entire watch, is that roiling behind her eyes and trying to come up with some way that she can fix things. Alternatively, how she can just do it the fuck herself and she don't need nobody.
Very tense watch, made worse by the plethora of words left completely unspoken. Eventually, Carrie able to finish out your rest. Watch slowly draws to a close. Everyone's able to get a long rest, so feel free to mark that off. It is early, what you all call morning. Again, no idea what actual time of day it is. Very early. Like, Suda is just at the very end of her watch, and a few of you are maybe starting to stir a little bit, still kind of in that half awake, just woke up. There is a much more comfortable quiet in here. There is the warmth from the fire that sort of died out throughout the night, not totally gone away, but died down quite a bit. And all of you kind of in that, like, just stirring from deep sleep. Especially those of you suffering from injuries the previous day, coming out of just the deep healing rest.
Does the poison heal?
So any conditions, the poisoned and exhausted, your long rest, you guys are able to clear those out.
We didn't get to, like, really take a look at it, but when Suda goes to look into their pack that night to get their, like, sleeping tea, there is, like, a new bottle in there of what appears to be that very same, like, medicine or substance that she uses, but much more refined, much easier to use. a bit improved in its efficacy. It's just there. Probably don't know where it came from, but it's in there.
In the extremely quiet, still pretty tense hours of this early morning, you all hear at the door of the house you were barricaded in.
Sword drawn, I am at the door. I have not opened it, but like, who is knocking at the door?
I'm going to cast Mage Armor on Duke Leto.
I think Olwen, as like Carrie rushes to the door, sword drawn, he's immediately like ear to the door, peeking underneath the slits, trying to identify what's out there.
And Suda's flanking the door. Mage armor going up, sword summoned.
Elena backs out of the way, gets as far away from the door as she can manage.
Everyone bursts out of their bedrolls, weapons at the ready, casting spells instantly. Who's opening the door?
Am I able to tell what's on the other side?
You get down on the ground and you look under the gap in the door. You see the shadow of what you assume is a pair of feet.
I do like a quick head count of everyone inside.
Everyone's inside.
I think Olwen is going to look at the other two, Suda and Caradwin, that are also by the door, and just sort of like mouth, "It's a person." Well, he's not going to say it loud. He's mouthing it out.
Yeah, I think Carrie will kind of ready herself, but look at Sage. I mean, knowing that Sage has done something to the door, will look at Sage and like kind of nod. Ready when you are.
Who is it? I'm like approaching the door and standing in front of it.
It's a person. I can't.
It's a person, but can they hear me? Who is this?
Quiet on the other side.
I think as like if Sage is gonna go approach the door to like work on the lock, I think Olwen also takes like a half step back and immediately notches and draws an arrow.
I'm scared. I'm gonna cast False Life on myself real quick before I open the door, like a crack to try and look out. So I'm getting myself some temp HP here, and then I crack open the door.
As you open the door and you look, you glance out and you see the veiled face of a woman. Veiled, black cloth covering her face, covering her head, similar to a nun's habit, wearing just large black robes, and is just waiting patiently, kind of ticks her head to the side a tad as you open the door, and kind of turns her head as if trying to look beyond you into the house.
Why are you down here?
See, she raises a hand as if to start speaking, but sucks in a breath as if she can't breathe, can't speak with ease. And Suda, the sound is achingly familiar to you when she breathes in.
Are you okay? I think Sage is going into, like, she opens the door further to, like, try and, like, be like, does this person need help?
Suda, when you fought the fire starter, there was a moment when something echoed to you. That sound plays again, this time right in front of you. I realized there were visitors. You cannot be here. She doesn't move. She stays where she is.
I think you'll find that we can be and we are.
No. You'll give away my hiding spot.
But do none of us, like, recognize them?
Completely covered. She's wearing what is essentially, like I said, a nun's habit. Black robes, black face covering, black veil.
Okay, Caradwin, hearing this very strange, burning a use of Eyes of the Grave, is this figure undead?
Yes. The figure takes a step back as you open the door all the way. Her hands are still clasped in front of her, gloved hands. You cannot see a bit of like her skin or who she is, just completely veiled and covered. Takes a step back and points back the direction you came. You can't give away my hiding spot!
Who are you, and what are you hiding from exactly?
No! She takes a step back, deeper into the city the way that you all were going. Still pointing the way you came.
Elena steps into view for a moment and says, "My dear, if you do not tell us a bit about who you are hiding from and why, we can't help you. We don't want to expose your hiding spot, but you need to give us more information so that we can help you and do what you need. Please tell us, who are you hiding from?" Trying to persuade.
Alina, out of everyone to step up and speak to Miss Ma'am here, I love that it was you.
Oh dear.
You step into view fully, pulling the attention onto you, and begin speaking, offering a hand of aid, offering assistance, help. And she, before you even finish, raises a hand to point at you and just starts making noise. And just continues and continues as she's backing up more rapidly now, pointing at you as she continues going and just keeps doing that. Full sprinting backwards, pointing and just no.
I think the moment she starts making noise, I think Olwyn rushes forward to try and quiet her down.
You want to try to grapple her?
Yeah, I suppose.
Please.
7.
You rush forward. You go, she's like full sprinting while going backwards. It's an unnatural, uncanny movement that this figure is doing. And you move forward trying to like grab and like put a hand over just to quiet down, to prevent any other attention. The moment you make contact, the fabric crumples beneath your grasp and falls to the ground. A cloud of dust.
I barely touched her. What?
I don't think you have the power to turn somebody to dust, Olwyn.
You are left standing. The black robes fall to the ground, a cloud of dust into the air. Though she is no longer there, the frightened wailing and begging that emitted from her form still echoes gently off of the cavern walls, fall around you. No. Until it slowly fades and leaves you all in quiet once again. And that, my friends, is where we're going to end it today.
Hey, G, what the fuck?
Thanks so much for joining! I hope you had fun! I know I did!
My tummy hurts.
I had a wonderful time. I love hanging out with my friends and playing a fun game.
Just a silly fun game.
It's just a silly fun time.
Can we add my tummy hurts to the tally?
It's on the list. Yeah.
Alright, perfect, awesome.
If you're playing Magnificence Bingo, let us know if you won yet.
Yeah, we're gonna make a Magnificence Bingo board, I swear to God. If you're scared, you're welcome. Thanks for joining us. I hope you'll join us next time. Bye, everyone. Bye.
Hey, I survived!
Yeah!